Sure, geopolitics and history have kept our two countries apart. So we have been, I think our president has decided to make up for lost time, for lost opportunities. At nais natin pareho na maging mas malapit at mas malalim ang ating relasyon. Since the president first met President Putin in Peru at the sidelines of APEC in November 2016, we have in that short time concluded 29 agreements, which constitutes a very solid legal framework for our cooperation to move forward. At yung basehan na yun, may mga agreement na ito, may mga objectives, may mga mechanisms para sa ating mga ahensya na mag-usap-usap para maisulong ang ating relasyon. So nandun tayo ngayon after many years of losing and missing many opportunities. So medyo mahabol. The visit in May in 2017 was not entirely a loss kasi sa kagandahan loob sinabi sa akin ni Presidente na uuwi nga siya at kung pwedeng kausapin lang niya si Mr. Putin, President Putin para magpaumanhin at sabi ko give me the chance, baka pwedeng pamatuloy yung bilateral meeting. So, to our pleasant surprise, after a few negotiations with the Russians, the meeting with the President and President Putin was moved forward to just before the President was going to board the plane. So they met in the Kremlin. It was just supposed to be for a few minutes, but it went way past midnight. Madami hong napag-usapan nila doon. And then, in spite of it being cut short, we signed 10 agreements at that time. So natuloy pa rin yun. So may mga bagay lang na hindi natuloy. In this visit, I think it's a little different because the President is not only meeting with President Putin, but he's also the guest of President Putin sa Valdai Forum na magbigay ng kanyang views tungkol sa mundo from the point of view of a Philippine president, essentially from the point of view of the East. So isang magandang oportunidad yun. Ang isa pang bago na first time rin ay si Presidente gusto niyang i-share ang ating kultura. So for the first time I think in all his visits, if I'm not mistaken, we will have a cultural gala here in Russia. We will feature the Madrigal singers and the Bayanihan dance group. And this is to share our culture, our dance and music with the Russian people. So that's something new for this year's visit. There's quite a bit that they would like to discuss based on our initial meetings. There's a lot on the economic sphere. I can't preempt the specifics. There's also a lot in the political cooperation, on defense and security cooperation. And then there's specific discussions possibly on health and culture and education. So actually it's a big agenda, but they are very good leaders. They know what they will focus on, and I am very much looking forward to hearing that discussion. But I'm not sure if he's going to say it in those things. But on the record, this has been his view of dealing with the world. Especially one of non-interference in the domestic affairs of a sovereign state. Our view is to respect the sovereignty of states, their territorial integrity and their independence. This is one where we hesitate to interfere in the internal affairs of states. I think, first of all, the Philippines is in a very, very great position to speak about the Eastern perspective in the world order because we have very deep ties with for example, the West. Our traditions, our values are heavily dependent on Western education. But then we are located in the East. Our neighbors are all East. And I think the President will have a very good perspective to share from that very unique point of view. Over the past few years, dumami po ang pumupuntang Russia at nagtatrabaho. Ito ay nangangailangan, dahil walang agreement kokonti lang ang may legal visa para specific dun sa trabaho nila na caretaker or household service worker. Yan po ay masosolve hopefully with a bilateral labor agreement na tinatrabaho na namin. At I hope and I believe the President will raise it with President Putin, at doon he will, dahil mahalaga ho ang overseas Filipinos kay Presidente, I cannot imagine him not raising it and putting his advocacy behind it. At pag nangyari, malaking tulong ho sa efforts namin on the ground to work out the details. Alam mo, yung mga agreement na to, hindi nahuhulog sa langit na buo na eh. Trinatrabaho yan, bawat kama, period at salita. So when the President, hopefully the President, and I think he will raise it, malaking tulong ho yan sa aming trabaho para maisulong ang isang bilateral labor agreement. Pag napirmahan yan, maaring magkaroon na ng legal status yung mga gustong magtrabaho dito. Iba pang usapin yung legalization o amnesty nung nandito na. Pero yun, isusulong din namin yun. Isang napaka-importanting issue sa atin that relates to our economy and the welfare of our people ay yung energy po. Russia is a major player in almost all forms of energy. At ito po ay isang usapin na pag-uusapan with my understanding. Kailangan ang energy cost po natin mataas. There is also uncertainty in the world. Sometimes may mga events sa ibang lugar kung saan tayo traditionally nagsosource ng ating mga energy needs. So kailangan palawakin natin ang ating mga sources ng energy at saka with the prices and costs that benefit our people. So Russia, I understand, that's one of the topics that could be discussed. Our primary objective is market access. Russia is malaki hong market ang Russia. 145 million people. Tapos pag sinali nyo yung mga bansa na kasakop nila na meron silang economic or trade relations, mahabot yata ng mga 180 million. Malaki ho yan. Tapos malaki ang demand nila. Russian tastes are evolving. They're willing to try things that are new. So we have, I believe, a good market here for agricultural products. Yun ho actually yung understanding ni President Putin at ni President Duterte na nag-meet sila sa Peru, na meron magandang balitang i-announce doon sa business meeting, mga kontrata na pipirmahan na which will lead to jobs sa Pilipinas, which will create more jobs in agricultural and fishing sector and manufacturing sector. Like I said, there will be agreements that will create demand for our products, which means more workers will be employed by the corporations. Farmers will get higher value for their products. Manufacturers will be creating more jobs. And more importantly, the Philippines will be identified as a major player in the agricultural market here, and the food market here, food and drink. So we're working very aggressively. The problem ho talaga is Russians have very little knowledge of the Philippines. What little knowledge they have are stereotypical of the Philippines. So dahil nga we're identified more with another country where they have problems, so they identify us with that country. So what I've been in my years I've been telling the Russians, we're friends. We're not going to get in between your problems with other countries. We're not taking sides. We just want to do business with you. We want to bring our peoples closer together and learn more from each other. You know, when you want to promote your products, you have to promote the whole country. You just can't promote our fruits or our other like our coffee without telling the story of the Philippines, of the Filipino people, of our sustainable farming, of our long tradition of of using healthy and organic inputs in our agriculture. And you have to tell the story of a warm and friendly people, of beautiful places for tourists to visit, of a great culture, a great art, music. So you promote all this. So we have events where we bring all these together. For example, we recently had a street fair where we brought all these elements. Pati arniso, pinopromote namin dito. Yung hilot, yung ating Philippine massage, pinopromote. So we promoted Philippine food, Philippine art culture. We had a mini fashion show which highlighted fabric made from natural fibers. So there's a great story to tell. We cannot just sell the product by itself. We have to sell the whole country, our people, our places, our history. We have to sell that. So create that better knowledge and understanding of the Philippines. We also have events here. For example, we had food tastings and food preparation and demonstration and cooking demonstrations. We had an event where we featured our coffee, tea, and chocolate. It's a tasting reception. And later, I think next month, we will have a liquor, beer tasting reception. The liquor market here is, I think everybody knows, is very, very large. But it's very competitive. And ang ting ko pag nakapasok tayo, believe ako sa produkto natin, sa atin mga liquor, alcohol and beer, and I think they can compete. We just really need to connect the people to the product, to connect the Russian people to our country. So that's it's not easy because it's very strategic. So promote the product, promote the tourist the destinations, but then at the same time you promote the culture, the art, cuisine. We've been having slight increases over the years in tourism arrival from Russia. Russians travel a lot. I'm amazed at their desire to travel, and they travel a lot to Southeast Asia. Almost 2 million go to Southeast Asia. The bulk goes to Thailand, about 1.4 million. We get about 35,000. So we need to exert more effort. There's no doubt that Russians travel. They just need to know more about the Philippines. And they travel to Southeast Asia. So we need just to, First of all, after he gets his degree, I hope I'm the first one to greet him, Dr. Duterte. But it's a degree that's given to heads of states and leaders. The MGIMO is it's the top university in the broadest sense of a liberal arts university, but it's also the top university for training Russians for foreign affairs, for foreign business, for international business transactions. So it's something we're looking forward to. And actually, more importantly, he will be speaking to the studentry and the faculty and special guests when he's been conferred the honors. And he will be taking questions, so it should be interesting. Nakakatuwa yung kanilang response sa amin when we're now doing we have to go through a process of registration. They are all very eager to see the president. Doon po sa mga malakas, I have not heard from the community here. They're very supportive of the president's programs. They believe that actually they're very supportive of our efforts, which of course are in support of the president's program. So we get a lot of volunteers. For example, we have a cultural group, Philippine Embassy Culture Group, and a chorale group. They're all very supportive of government. So I have not, even we have kapihans regularly, which is like town hall meetings, and expressions there are one of support for the president. Last time every time I meet with the agency here that deals with foreigners, the numbers keep on growing. When I ask how many, I'm almost afraid to ask how many, because the last time we talked, their rough estimate was about 10,000 throughout Russia. Now, of those 10,000, I about 90-95% are women engaged in work as nannies, household workers, household service workers. And the sad thing is very few, very few, because there are only about 100 legal visas available for nannies and household service workers. So the rest do not have this visa to work here, but they work here. They are doing very well. We have not had a case of an employer physically hurting their Filipino employee. We have had one sexual assault case, and we're pursuing that, of course. But generally, wala ho dito yung pinaplansya o binubuhusan ng mainit na tubig. Wala pa kaming... meron ho yung Filipino na nakit ng Filipino. So we try to settle that. But the employer being abusive we have very few. But in terms of the embassy assisting, kasi nga ho, madaming walang visa. So many decide to go home. So we assist them to exit. Kasi walang visa, it's a violation of Russian law. You're here undocumented. I don't want to say illegal. So we have to go through a process para hindi sila ma-detain, para makaalis. So we help them. We do that for them. We also provide the funds for their repatriation. We provide a shelter here to wait for their repatriation, or in some cases naman may sakit, so tinutulungan din namin medically. So last few weeks we had 17 repatriations. A few of those were medical. There was don't want to talk about the specifics, pero may health issues, kaya gusto nang umuwi. So madami na rin repatriation cases. So there are visa quotas for Filipinos in the areas of pipe fitter, carpentry, gas worker, welder. So meron ho yun. In fact, it's a few hundred. And they are being legally deployed. They are POEA registered. Their agencies and their employers are POEA registered. So meron yun. Pero dahil sa Russia, meron din unemployment. Tsaka yung trabaho ng nanny at tsaka household service worker, kayang gawin ng Russian. Meron mga Russians na available and willing to do the work. So medyo hindi madagdagan yung criteria ng visas para dun sa mga household service workers or nannies. Pero tinatrabaho namin yon habang kahit wala pang bilateral labor agreement, tinatrabaho namin na baka pwedeng lakihan, or pag nahuli, wag na lang ikulong, i-turn over sa amin, igagaranti namin na we will ask for that we take custody para hindi makulong kung mahuli at ipoprocess. But the pinaka-importante yung bilateral labor agreement. Ang problema lang kasi halos may 16 bilateral labor agreements ang Russia. Kaya lang, ito ay with countries na mayroon na silang tradisyon ng mga nagtatrabaho dito, kahit nung panahon pa nung Soviet times. So, we don't have that same tradition of working here. Very recent lang yung Tapos dumadami. So baka pwede rin gamitin yung programa, manawagan sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino, lalo na yung nandito, wag mag-recruit, wag mag-illegally recruit. Kasi madaming cases yung nandito na Pilipino, sila ang nagdadala, minsan kamag-anak, kapitbahay, kabayan. Kung pwede sana, kasi hindi makakatulong yan sa efforts namin na mag-negotiate ng bilateral labor agreement. Kailangan kasi natin patunayan sa Russian government na marunong tayo sumunod sa kanilang batas at mas tataas yung trust and understanding para basis para mag-negotiate. At parang habang nagne-negotiate ka, tuloy pa rin yung pasok ng illegal workers. Parang hindi nakakatulong yun sa negosasyon. So kung pwede, sana yung mga nandito na o yung mga illegal recruiters sa Pilipinas, sa Hong Kong, sa Middle East, wag muna ho mag-recruit para ho bigyan kami ng oportunidad na maayos ang status nila dito. We have and we are working with the Russian government to quietly build cases against them. Also, we report every single instance of illegal recruitment or human trafficking sa home office sa Manila. And we document it. We do case build-up, enough information and documentation, kahit screenshot ng mga conversation nila o kontrata, para magkaroon ng basehan na mag-file ng case ang fiskal o ang NBI. Proof of that is we are very open. Anyone can walk in at any time. May nag-PPM sa akin hating gabi, kaya naghihingi ng tulong. Pupuntahan namin, kukunin namin. Meron na may sakit, dadalhin namin sa ospital. We do all that. Patitirahin namin dito. We don't turn away anyone. It's just that the problems are many. Meron health, meron nabubuntisan, meron may utang, tapos nag-aaway ang mga Pilipino. But it's always worth it. Kasi in the end, sometimes they send us video messages kung nakauwi na sila. Inayakap nila yung mga anak nila at tuwan-tuwa sila. So they send us, nakakataba ng puso yon. And pero malulungkot din isa. For example, we repatriated a mother and child na stage 4 cancer. Just last month, namatay na siya. But she was reunited with her other children at nagpasalamat siya na naabutan pa na siya buhay.
Yes, sir. On that note, Ambassador, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.